Hi everyone, welcome back to the Culture Bucket podcast, the universe's best and greatest podcast that everyone loves, with your two great good best friends, George and Alex. This week is another Black Mirror mini episode, as we are discussing all of the episodes of season 6 of Black Mirror. So I hope you enjoy that when we get into that in a moment. But before we get to the good stuff, I'd just like to remind you to please go and rate and review us everywhere you can. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, etc., etc. Tell your friends about us, get people listening. We'd really appreciate it. And we'll see you for more full-sized normal episodes after our summer vacation. I hear a rumour that Alex is turning pretty. I already did that last summer, so that's fine. Right, we'll see you in September. Love you very much. Enjoy the episode.
Finally turning pretty at 38.
It's never too late to turn
never
pretty.
too late to turn pretty.
Okay.
Two friends just made a podcast. Two good friends just made a podcast. Two friends just made a podcast. It's called Culture Bucket. Two friends just made a podcast. Two good friends just made a podcast. Two friends just made a podcast. Culture Bucket, George and Alex.
So this is episode 116 of the Culture Bucket podcast. We're discussing episode 2 of season 6 of Black Mirror, Loch Henry. I'm your host, George, and with me is Alex. Hi, Alex.
Hi, George. Hi, everyone.
Hi. So, bit of tonal whiplash from last week.
Yes.
I think we've gone from one of the more lighter episodes of Black Mirror into probably not the darkest, because there's some real bleak stuff going on in previous episodes, but one of the darker stories they've ever told. And one of the less, it's not like the Journey's Awful isn't dark in the way that a lot of Black Mirror is, but it is a story of technology controlling our lives in an uncomfortable way. Whereas Loch Henry, it's less immediately clear what the Black Mirror connection is.
Yeah.
Black, do you know what Black Mirror refers to, the name of the episode, Black Mirror?
No, I don't.
It refers to the screen of a phone or a TV when it's turned off and you're reflected in it. It's a black mirror. So to imply that there is always some piece of technology reflecting the crooked and dark version of ourselves back at us. Less clear in this episode what that is, but there is some elements of technology that come into play, but it's more older technology rather than future technology. The logline for this episode is: a young couple travel to a sleepy Scottish town to start work on a genteel nature documentary, but find themselves drawn to a juicy local story involving shocking events of the past. The episode opens with us meeting our two main characters for the episode, who are Davis, played by Samuel Blenkin, and Pia, played by Mihala Herold. As they, Pia is American, but she is in a relationship with... She's American, isn't she?
Yeah, she's American,
Yeah. She's in a relationship with Davis, who's Scottish, and they study film together in London, but they're travelling up to make a project about, what is it, a man who collects eggs?
Yeah,
right?
something about man who collects eggs.
To film a documentary about that near his hometown, and they go to stay with his mother. But Pia soon learns that there is a much more interesting story in the local town involving a serial killer that was preying on tourists in the town. What did you think as you were watching this one? What did you make of Loch Henry?
Interesting, a bit slow. This one. It starts a bit slow, and so when they get to the mum's house, there's already some weird things with Pia and the mother. I think Pia is very American and the mother is very Scottish, and the mother is kind of really strange from the beginning, and she doesn't seem to have the best relationship with her son. I don't know, she's a bit weird. So from the beginning, mother is odd. And then the more you watch the episode, you find out why the mother is so odd, and everybody's a little bit odd in this city. Even had the friend when they go to when they go to the pub and his friend there's nobody really in the pub because everybody has left because of the serial killer.
Yeah.
And the friend is a little bit odd too. Pia seems to be like somebody very driven. I don't know, because I found it, the fact that she wants to make a documentary about the deaths of her partner's dad, in a way, she seems very not in tune with anybody else's emotion apart from hers.
Yeah, what, Pia?
Yeah, Pia. So she
Yeah.
wants to do this. So they change their mind, and she tries to change her partner's mind, Davis's mind, to do a documentary about what happened around his father's death and this serial killer. So she seems to be like very, it's, me, I exist, I want to do it, and they do it. And then the more the episode goes on, the more you find out that maybe it wasn't just one serial killer, and then Pierre finds out that the serial killer was the father as well, Davis's father. And also Davis's mother, which then she does something that I hate. Like, she runs off. Like, Davis's mother would not know that Pia knows that she is a serial killer.
Yeah.
And she decides to run off. Like, that's the worst thing you could possibly do. Like, what you do, you close the computer, you leave it alone, and then you stay the night, you lock yourself in, because there's no danger. She has no clue.
No, but you now know that you're in the home of a murderer.
Absolutely, but you don't have to run away, because then she's going to find out that you know.
Yeah, but people have a fight or flight response when they get put into extreme situations like this, don't they?
I guess.
Like, it's hard to know how you'd react if you suddenly realised you were in the home of a serial killer. Because, they don't know, but maybe...
But if there's a little old Scottish lady,
Well, she's still dangerous.
She's dangerous, but she doesn't know that you know. Like, that you are empowered. She doesn't know you know. She has no clue. Does she? All you have to go is go...
I don't know, because she comes across her as she's watching the video. She doesn't know exactly how much of she saw of her watching the video, if you see what I mean.
I guess so. Or you just have dinner, you lock yourself in your room, and then you run away from the window.
Yeah. But she panics early and she runs off, and it doesn't end super well for her. This episode was inspired by true crime documentaries, like Netflix's obsession with true crime documentaries, and the kind of paradox of telling these horrible stories about awful events, but then having these beautiful drone shots of gorgeous countryside of these locations where these crimes happened in. And that disparity was kind of what inspired him, Charlie Brooker, to write this episode.
What did you think of this episode?
I really like it. I really, really like this episode. I really like these sorts of true crime stories. I find really interesting. And I was really kind of pulled into their story, and as it reveals the twists and turns and reveals that, there's a lot of hints leading up to it that the mum and dad were involved. It was clear pretty early, because they make a real point of being really unclear about the fact that, like, Ian Adair is the serial killer that made everybody leave the town as he killed these two holidaymakers, and the town has kind of fallen into a recession kind of thing since then. And Davis talks about how Ian Adair, his dad got shot because his dad was a policeman in the takedown of Ian Adair, and then died shortly after, and they link the two events together, but they never really explain. It's not like Ian Adair killed his dad, and it's really unclear like what exactly happened, and they clearly leave like a lot of confusion around those events. And then there's bits where like they're interviewing the mum, and the mum says, "Oh, your dad was never filming for broadcast, imagine." And then you find out at the end that obviously the dad was filming the murders being committed and stuff. So I like all those little kind of hints throughout, pointing towards what's going to happen at the end. And I think Monica Dolan, who plays the mum, I think I really like her. She plays Rose West. She played Rose West in an ITV drama about Fred and Rose West years ago called Appropriate Adult, which was really good. She was very good in that, and then she's sort of playing a similar character in this. And and it goes very dark. And yeah, I did. I enjoyed it. I thought this was a really good one. And I thought the last scene of he ends up making, Pia dies.
Yeah, because she's running away from the mother, even if she doesn't have to.
But she does have to because she's scared. And you don't know, Alex, how somebody would react to discovering that information.
Yeah, but don't make it so obvious, I know it's fight or flight, but also you have to be like responsible to not make this woman kill you. And she made it very easy.
Yeah, but you don't behave in a logical way when you're panicking about potentially being killed by a serial killer.
Yeah, but when she calls her for dinner, would you go down for dinner? Like, if you're that scared, you wouldn't go down for dinner. So what you do, you just pack everything and then you run away.
But then you start thinking, well, if I don't go down for dinner, she's going to know immediately that I know, and then she's gonna come up and attack me. Like you suddenly feel like you're in a situation where one wrong move could make you die, and it makes you doubt every choice and decision you make, and then she panics and makes wrong choices, and then the mum sort of takes her own life, and she leaves a note for her son that we don't see until the very end, but her son ends up finishing a documentary and is then hailed. He wins a load of awards, and obviously it's this thing of like, suddenly he's got all this success that he was looking for in his movie making, but at the expense of discovering these awful, horrific truths about his family and where he came from. Really sort of good. I liked it. You think that the suicide note that his mum left is going to be something like, "I'm sorry for what I did," etc., but it just says, "For your film, Mum," and she's basically just giving him all the footage of the horrible murders. So I think this was a fairly well received episode overall. 87% of Rotten Tomatoes.
Nice.
I've got some trivia for you.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear it?
Yeah.
Good. A Loch Henry poster for the documentary created in this episode is visible on Streamberry when Joan is browsing before spotting Joan is awful in the previous episode.
Yeah, I saw it.
Interesting trivia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's a poster, blah, 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 blah. Rubbish IMDb trivia is terrible. Da, 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 da. It's just loads of references to previous episodes. Oh, in the flashback to when Kenny goes to investigate the farmhouse and is shot, you hear 3 gunshots in quick succession and are told that Ian shot his parents, then himself. If that were the case, there would have been 2 shots, then a pause, then 1 more shot. This is a clue to the ending where you discover that it was in fact Kenny who killed all 3, and in fact the gunshots could have sounded like they did. What do you think of that?
Great trivia.
Great trivia. Thank you, IMDb Trivia. Well done, IMDb Trivia. That's about all I've got from there. Does the enemy have any interesting stuff? There's loads of hints that Janet's the murderer.
Wow.
As we mentioned, coming back for Black Mirror episodes of Clues you missed earlier is fascinating. Loch Henry stars Mahala Harold and Samuel Blenkin agree with us, and they have favourites too. Blenkin's is the interview scene with young filmmaker Davis, girlfriend and co-director Pia, and Davis' mum Janet, who turns out to be one of the killers they're investigating. She says, "I haven't been on camera before, despite the many murder videos described as old Bergerac tapes sitting on living room shelves." Then she says, "Well, your dad wasn't filming for broadcast. Can you imagine?" And then Harold's pick is a bit subtler. It's when Pia and Davis go to pitch their film, and the producer, Kate Caesar, asks, "Do you have a personal element to the story?" She says, and Davis is like, "Oh, my dad died shortly after arresting one of the killers," but the personal element becomes even crazier. And then it's revealed later that's because they were the killers. Yeah, so that's Loch Henry.
Yes.
Where do you rank it in comparison to Joan is Awful? Is it above it or below it?
Maybe because there's a bit of a twist, I'm going to put it above it.
Above Joan is Awful.
Yes.
I also am going to put it above Joan is Awful. So at the moment we both have Loch Henry and then Joan is Awful in our rankings.
Yeah, but nice. Still, I wasn't really into it this episode either.
No. So 2 for 2 on not really being into it. So
far. It's very strange, and it wasn't captured.
Yeah, it is strange because I think they're both really good episodes. So.
Weird, eh? Must have been I don't know, other stuff that I was watching that was better.
Yeah, different views on Culture Bucket, but I liked it.
Yeah.
Alex wasn't so keen, but that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
I probably watch more true crime things and am more interested in that kind of atmosphere. Maybe. No?
I again, a bit like Joan is awful. I felt it was very. I just needed a little bit more. Like the concepts are cool, but I think maybe it needed a little bit more time to give it a little bit more, a bit more body to it.
Good.
It just felt really simplistic. That's all.
Yeah, but that's kind of Black Mirror. Like it's a cautionary tale. It's not that they're meant to be kind of quick, snappy.
Yeah, quick and snappy. But then they can be like the next episode that we're going to talk about is like a little bit longer, but that definitely gives you a little bit more of a feel of something.
Interesting, because I do not like the next episode as much as these
two.
But we'll talk about that next week. Thank you so much for talking to us about Loch Henry, and we hope you're enjoying it. And again, we'll see you in September. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.